Well, hello guys, welcome back. So bonus material for you because, when you run a channel, you will attract all sorts. And you will attract fun people, and you will attract mean people, and you will attract timid people that you're really trying to coax them to share because you know they have a lot inside them. Basically, you become like a teacher, and you're trying to get all the students in the class to like get along. And you also attract the other teachers who are just going to step into your classroom and shove you out of the way because they know more. And unfortunately, I had one join us recently. And, as a person trying to teach and share with you guys and learn and grow with you, I'm like, well, I always try to give people enough room to have their say. And then some people calm down. Once they've gotten run their mouth for a while, they calm down. And it's like, okay. But where do you draw the line, for example, with pushy people? Good thing I serve Odin because we're going to talk about Odin today. And Odin always constantly challenges you, and at least with me, it's always constant challenging. And we went through a period recently where he was challenging me on everything. I was wrong on everything. He was making me second guess everything, and he was just pushing. And whatever I thought was a good idea, no, I was wrong. And I couldn't understand why he was running this really negative campaign with me until, finally he pushed me to the point where I start shoving back. And I'm like, fuck you, no. I'm a grown ass adult. I know my mind. I know what I want, and I know what's right to me. If other adults agree or disagree, fine. But stop pushing me, man. And Odin was doing that to, firm up my boundaries and firm up my boundaries because this is a god with foresight. And this woman comes on, and she's very highly opinionated. And she's a pushy broad, to put it politely. And she's like pushing me, and every time I'm saying something, she's misconstruing it. And I'm thinking, like, well, I get a lot of people where their first language isn't English. And I'm like, I'm the only English major here, so, let's calm down. Not everybody knows the English language that well. And finally, she misconstrued something today, and I'm like, listen, lady, you obviously know more than me. I'm wrong on everything. Why don't you go start your own channel? Because that's going to be the only solution that's going to keep us happy. She can go have her patch, and, she can teach you all how wrong I am. And, I can have my patch, and I can, not be some unquestioned overlord. But, don't walk into my classroom and start telling my students that I am wrong. That's fucking disrespectful. When she claims to be a teacher, she should know that. If you're a teacher and you're trying to teach a class and another teacher walks in and starts gainsaying you, you ever see the look teachers give each other like, listen, bitch, this is my classroom. What the hell you doing? You don't get to do that. And, kids will try to play teachers off each other too, right? They'll go, well, Mrs. So-and-so said something because they want this teacher to go over into Mrs. So-and-so's class and start business. And since you get attached to your students, of course you want to. You're like, I'm going to go tell Miss So-and-so something. You can't do that. You have to learn the discipline that you might not agree with that teacher, but you gotta leave them alone. It's the same thing our gods have to learn with us. They're all our teachers, and they might be vastly different, and they might countermand each other all the time, but they have to learn when it's an important lesson and when not to step into the middle of that lesson. Like, I was trying to teach one of you a lesson about self-confidence and learning your own discernment, which is really fucking important. And the person asked me, what tarot cards does Loki use? And I would not tell that person. And I said, and this is true, it's more important you learn what the god wants to use with you. I hate lists. I hate lists because your brain just shut down and you just close yourself off to all possibilities. And this person walked in and goes, well, I use these two cards. And I'm like, you know what? Those might be two cards I use myself, but I'm not going to tell you that because your brain's going to shut down. Maybe Loki wanted to use this card with this person, or maybe Loki wanted to use this card that didn't make sense with this person. They will never get that lesson now because they were told, here are the two cards I use, and they went, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Their brain just shut down. Their brain just shut down. I'm like, God damn it, these people need to learn. These people need to learn. I want them to learn. I want their brains to be open, your hearts and minds and brains to be open and not closed. Please do not give people lists on this channel. People will ask me about books, and I'm like, you know who the book worked for? And I'm not saying that so you don't read. It worked for that person. That is their unique relationship. You are not a bad person if you don't have that relationship. You're not a bad person if None of the colors or associations or anything else that you and I have match. You're not a bad person. We all do stuff differently. And I just want you to learn, damn it. It's like, well, it's like Odin. Odin is the teaching god. So is Loki, but Odin is a teaching god. And Odin's like, somebody stepped into your classroom, talked to one of your students. You're ready to kill people, aren't you? And I'm like, yes, I am. Leave my babies alone. These are my children. You know what I mean. You're all my students. You're all like kids to me in a way. I see. I know you're grown ass adults. It's a channel for adults, but at the same time, you're my students. Don't touch my precious students. I'll kill you. So. It's the teacher in me. It's the teacher in me. When I used to teach online and I would be teaching just fine, every so often you'd have a teacher that wouldn't mind their business and they'd come into your virtual classroom and they'd start trying to like teach over you. No, don't do that shit. Get out of my classroom. We're your children. Why aren't you with your kids? You know, that's another thing too. It's like you got kids, you got students. Go play with your students. Get away from my children. Why aren't you minding your own children? You are a bad teacher. Get out of here. So okay, like she fired him. No, that's a teacher in me. That is. That's a teacher in me, and that's what I bring every day. I'm like, how do I teach you something and give you examples and give you just enough ground to start on, but not close your minds down, not close your hearts down? Because, you know, I always try to tell you guys, I don't say every single video, but take what you need and leave the rest behind. I don't ever want anybody walking away from the channel with, well, I have to do it that way because, you know, she said so. You know, the person that was challenging me and basically every time I open my mouth, I'm wrong is like, well, they do this, they do that, so apparently they have a degree. I have degrees too. You know how you get a degree? Shove a thermometer up your ass. I love sociology teachers. That was one thing one of my sociology teachers told me. He had like at least one doctorate, and there were, you know, people, and this was at a community college, had 3 or 4. And he goes, "You want a degree? Shove a thermometer up your ass. There you go." So that's all, you know, that at the end of the day, he's being crude, but at the end of the day, that's what it really means. You learn to regurgitate stuff onto a paper. Good for you. You know, it doesn't mean anything if you don't have the spirit of teaching, if you don't have the spirit of learning, if you don't have the spirit of growing. Don't, you know, don't ever close yourselves down. So that's my angry teacher TED talk. It was just really important for me. And Odin's like, you might as well blow steam off about it, and you might as well talk about that. But that was why Odin was challenging me lately. He saw this coming, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna keep stepping on you, and I'm going to make it hurt, but you're learning in a safe environment with me, because at the end of the day, Odin has my back, and he's like, I'll step on you until you learn to fight back. Because that woman was obviously, you know, you get that on channels, you get that on blogs, you get that on anything. People start massively commenting on everything you've ever done and they're giving you critiques. They're just here to help. No, they're not. They're here to take over. They're putting their boots up on your desk. Get that nasty shit away from me. Not gonna do it here. This is my platform. You want a platform? Great. Go get one. Go get one. You know, I'm not even pissed off. I'm like, you're just not doing that shit here. Someone taught you along the way that if you're pushy enough, you can get your way and you can talk over them. Fuck you, I'm gonna tell you, nobody talks over me. Look, he's like, there's my girl. Yeah, and that's the thing. And you don't have to take it from other Lokeans, by the way, guys. Just because someone claims a longer relationship with Loki or they do that Loki loves me best bullshit, fuck them. Fuck them. Block them. You don't have to take shit from people. You're supposed to stand up and have self-respect. I want you to get that from this channel. Nobody is allowed to walk into your space and encroach on you and push you around and put you down and say their relationship with Loki is more valid or they're a more valid human being because they got like this, that, and the other going on in their life. Fuck them. Nobody gets to do that shit to you, especially not on my channel. That's me how I really feel. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.